What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. It is Veterans Day, so thank you before we start to all the veterans out there for obviously unbelievable protection, the freedoms that we have today to be able to just trade red, green, stupid looking candles for a living, which is crazy. But thanks to all the veterans out there. We got Albert in house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Anna, Andy, Bill, Brad, D, Georgia. Good morning to George, JT. We got Kevin in house. Good morning to Lehman. Good morning, Lehman. We got Lauren, Lucian, Martina, Shane, Tim. All my people out of YouTube lands. We got Clarice, Alisa. Good morning. M Skies in the house. Good morning to Santilla. Leonard, all my lurkers in the background of YouTube. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, we're bullish again. I mean, I don't even think you have to flip a coin anymore. Just assume everything is just bullish. And today's kind of weird. There's a little bit of a split in the market. So obviously we have SPY gapping up a little bit, but there's some individual names that are down. Crypto going crazy. Crypto is through the roof over the weekend. So just complete nonstop buying in the crypto space, which is wild. So yeah, the tickers I see coming in already: Coin, Riot, Mara, yep, all those guys. Tessie. We'll see. Tim saying 10% off at Publix for vets. I think Publix is only like what, east, like Florida zones, like somewhere down there. I don't have any Publix by me, but that's a pretty dope deal. We'll see. But yeah, again, nothing too wild about this gap in terms of targets. I got nothing. We did hit 600. We jumped a little over 600, so I know a couple of you guys were like, hey, when this thing hit 600, that's when I'm going to go short. You had some opportunity to do it today. You're not too far off if that's your plan. For me, I'm just going to wait. Not seeing any candles as to why we should. I don't see really momentum dying down. We're legitimately jumping above the high of Friday. All price action taken out. This is a retest candle, so maybe we do get some resistance in a wild world. There might be some psychological hold number at 600 on the SPY, and you get some people taking profits. I don't think that's an uncommon thought, which makes sense after the move we just had. But I'd be looking for a pullback. I'd still be leaning to the bullish side. I'd be looking if we could get down to 598.16. That should be your bounce spot in the market. If we start to break it, uh, we have a lot more room to the downside. 595.21. If we close down there, that turns into a bearish engulfing candle where you gap up to all-time highs, start closing a little bit lower. Maybe we get that little bit of a bigger pullback. But for right now, that's all just hypothetical, and we'll see where we go. But strong gap on the SPY. Let's take a look real quick at the Qs. Santilla says Tom Lee was right. Yeah, he was. He was. All right, you got the Qs that is jumping up as well. So that's gapping to all-time highs. Just no resistance above us. Not even like a real fun whole number, like 600. But you got 516, I guess. Maybe 520 is your next stop. That seems like a decent whole number, but we're just guessing. We're just riding momentum. We're just taking stabs at where maybe we could get a pullback. I think eventually we get one. But we've been saying that for what, 2, 3 years? Hardly get anything. Let's take a look at and then if we this is also a retest gap too. So if it does pull back, I guess the high of the day might give us a little support. Otherwise, the real support on the Qs I got is somewhere around 514 flat. So we'll see if that one pulls back. BTC USD. Um, just yeah, not haven't seen a red candle in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. I wouldn't I wouldn't be chasing down here up here. It doesn't mean that if you do chase, you're buying cryptos now, even really getting aggressive into the stock market. You probably still get paid. Chasing right now, he's been working obviously 7 days in a row bullish on Bitcoin. Something like Tesla, where you get those gap ups and then they just keep going, and you don't really get those pullbacks. You can make money. I think be cautious. I think profits come to those people who wait, the patience that kick in. But really, again, all-time highs on Bitcoin. There's no pullbacks. It's not really the zone I like to chase in. So if you have crypto, great. If you're looking to get into crypto, plan on where you would actually like to get in as opposed to I'm starting to see posts on like Facebook and Instagram with people I know that they're not traders. They have a whole different career. They're not doing anything. They start posting all about the Doge again. They start posting about random stocks that they have that's gone up. That's usually kind of the time where I'm like, they're starting to get a little frothy in the market. Usually that marks a sign, but we'll see. There's only a couple of them starting. I need to see a couple more, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm calling the top. I'm moving to safety, but not quite there yet because now you need people chasing those people. So we'll see. Coinbase really good gap up, obviously following Bitcoin as well. Again, I'm not going to go into Coinbase at 311 legitimately last week. Maybe the end of the week before, whatever date this was. I think it was last week. You could have got it for $175 or something like that. Now you're gonna pay 311. It's not on sale. It's not on sale anymore. The sale is over. But again, phenomenal gap. You do have some resistance you're gonna start to walk into. Doesn't mean it can't go up higher. It just doesn't mean that risk to reward is really quite on your side on this one. You might have some sellers coming in at 318.24. If they hang in a little longer, next real spot somewhere up in this 343.37. You do have the final kind of resistance that you're looking for is 353.30. Anything past that, you're legitimately looking at one candle and seeing if this thing wants to run from here. But if you get some pullbacks, I do think probably buy the dip opportunity makes sense. With this gap, though, it's not a dip, and we have a few powerful green days in a row. So be cautious. Again, I'm not saying even if if you're holding it, I'm not saying sell it, but just as quick as it goes up, it could come down as well. So we will see. But I don't want to be the guy buying at those levels. Mara, I'm sure, is run too. So Mara, take off some of those lines. We'll see where we're at. I don't Riot, I think, was moving to. Hood, I know, was moving as well. That's another one. But yeah, good gap up on this one as well. Still a retest gap. You, next target on Mara, and again for a trade, maybe this one's got some room in it. Uh, Probably to like 23.84, 24.24. You might want to see how the market opens, see if this thing gives you some red candles to the downside before just hitting the slapping the ESC at the morning sound of that beautiful bell. Otherwise, for support, somewhere around 2190, maybe get down to like 2144. Anything past that, you do have a solid level somewhere around 2059. So you got some support, a little bit lower. You do have a little bit more room on Mara, so I can see it going up from here. But let's see how that opening candle prints, and if it just opens up and just big green candle out of the gate, then it is what it is. I'm not chasing. I'm trying to be patient, but lots of gains up there. Coin all-time high is 429. Yeah, back in April 2021 is the all-time highs on Coinbase. Question is, does it just do all green candles till we retrace all the way back to that high? I think we probably get to that 429. Again, if it's a long-term investment, I don't think this is the best price for you to hop into some of these things. But I do think probably in 10 years it's higher as long as crypto pays off. We do have an administration that people were feeling confident that crypto would be a play. And they're acting on it now. So Riot, you have a little bit of volume right where we're kind of opening into. Otherwise, I think your next target on this one somewhere around 1526. Let's see. Yep, another couple big bullish days in a row. I would think somebody wants to take profits, but again, it's got some room higher. So I don't know if people are really excited to take profits yet, or just kind of letting the runners run. So you're starting to diminish again that risk to reward to the higher side without any pullback to get in. But again, see where that first candle opens. If it's a green shoot out of the gate, be patient with it. See if it wants to pull back. I don't know if I'd want to go short these things either. Just because I don't go long doesn't mean I want to go short on it. But plan it out where, okay, at a later date, if we start retesting into this 1247, is that a zone that I might want to get into? What about like 1095? What happens? What was my plan of action if it gets down to those zones and the market conditions look exactly the same as it is today? That's how I would look to plan some of these things out. Otherwise, I don't like buying it up here. Tesla, another one. Another one. DJ Khaled. Uh, strong moves. Starting to get into a little congestion from back in January of 2022. We've had a few spots up here where we did sell off. It looks like a phenomenal move out of the gate. Lots of people, lots of bulls profitable on this one at this point. I think if you were in short, you've had plenty of opportunities to get out of the way. So I don't know how many people are looking to go short Tesla, but uh, it is a big retest gap. You are into a little resistance. If you're coming down for the retest, I'd be looking for like a 321.94 if we can get there. And this is a big gap. There might be some room to try to play this one short. I'm not opposed to it. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous short. I wouldn't feel comfortable even making money on that trade on a lot of these things. Nvidia, the chips have been quiet. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but as once we got the new and it still went up, once we got the Trump president election, president elect, certain stocks have been just flying. Those ones that we kind of pointed out to like the Trump trade, we were doing like what if Kamala wins, what if Trump wins, what stocks would be good? These the chips had the chips act. I don't think that Trump just pulls out any funding or investments into chips. I think he would like to be one of the leaders in chips as opposed to have another country do it, honestly. But you do have that the CHIPS Act, which did provide lots of money into kind of the chip investment. And I think that's where people are kind of questioning. Well, I think there's two things on the table with Nvidia. One is, but AMD, SMCI, all the same thing. SMCI again, another story. But people are a little concerned. Like, do we continue to invest in chips? I think the answer is yes, but we don't know till we know. So I don't. This has been obviously moving higher. We've just made all-time highs Friday. I'm not saying the move is over, but it's a little bit more quiet than we've seen probably during the last 4 years. You do have some kind of resistance that you're opening into right now. So if we could get above 148.26, maybe we're off to the races again. If we start getting down to like 147.48, there should be a little support there. Anything breaking that, I think the next stop at least is 146.13. Not saying again that they're not moving with the rest of the market, just not as fast and furious that we've known Nvidia. Part two of that is you still have earnings coming out. You still have a big day. We're sitting at all-time highs on Nvidia, but November 20th, we should get earnings, which I believe is what, next week? So next week, I think we got earnings on them. We'll see. We'll see if they could live up to the expectations and if it's going to be a. Georgia says, "Why have they been quiet?" I think you have the catch-up trade in a lot of other stocks. Like Tesla really hasn't moved for a year, 2 years, right? We've been kind of just sitting in a range, and now you have good earnings on Tesla. You got a lot of future potential products, and then you got Elon, which is good friends with Trump now. Probably going to get some favorable policies, I would assume. Probably decent market condition for him, and not a lot of regulation. I'm thinking in that part. So I think you're catching up from some of the ones that have sat a little more quiet. Things like Nvidia just ran a lot already, and again, they did get some funding from Democrats in the bills, and we don't know which bills stay or which parts or the whole bill goes away, and maybe they come back and just do something for specifically to the chips. So I think you have a couple question marks on some of these other chip names. Again, still a strong industry. I don't think it goes anywhere, but the question is how much investment continues to go into those areas. We got AMD. That one is not looking that great. Pre-market, we're actually down. So that one's gapping down. I'm looking at resistance on this one. I got two spots of resistance. So the first one is 148.39, and I'm looking at 148.96. Again, I was looking at this one a while ago. Not a while ago, last week, I guess. That feels like a while ago though to me. So I don't. Last week was bananas. But you got one, two, three. I was looking for this wave four. Not sure again where we kind of actually start to dip. But you have all of these moving averages going to put some weight on it. And I think we just need that one more rotation, whether it's just a double bottom or we get that new lower low. But I think you need some kind of one more rotation. And then I think if you're interested in AMD, you're probably looking to get in somewhere around this 135 zone, I guess, would be a great attempt, great entry, good risk reward. But I think if you're going to actually get that bounce, that's probably probably what we need to happen on that one. So I wouldn't mind shorting AMD. It's got some room to the downside. You're not in the candle from Friday, but that was an inside from Thursday. That's the candle we are still in right now. Otherwise, targets to the downside, I got 144.30. Maybe we come into like this 143.59. Chips not being really as strong as some of these other names. That might be a decent short. So we'll put this one up here. We'll see what happens on this one. The other big news is, and I see the ticker in the chart in the chat too, SMCI. SMCI. Again, entirely different ball game. So I think they have till tomorrow to produce the paperwork that they need to not be delisted. I think that's the 12th. Is that the 12th? What's today? Yeah, today's the 11th. Yep. So tomorrow they have to produce the paperwork. Otherwise, they still right now are in jeopardy of being delisted. And then if they do provide the paperwork, we got to see what's in it. So they have some question marks around them still, but they are gapping down too. So still weak. If they provide the right paperwork, it's all correct. Everything looks good. The market's happy with it. You probably get some kind of a decent move. Otherwise, we start to lose probably 21.30, maybe a tad lower, $20.83. Again, is not a lot holding us back down to like $8.65. So they got some decent room to the downside. You got a lot of room to the upside if everything works out. So this one will be your coin toss. This is a high risk, high reward type trade in both directions. So be careful of that one, but they got to produce some important papers by tomorrow. MSTR. Yeah, so this is going to be another, obviously, Bitcoin related. Michael Saylor's been just nonstop hitting the buys on Bitcoin for a while, and it's paying off. You're getting the big gap up here on MicroStrategy. It is from Friday's candle, technically a gap and go. You've got no resistance above you. My one concern with this one would be Friday's candle was more of an inside day. So what's the strength of that move as we gap into all-time highs? That being said, you have $300, good psychological number ahead of you. Otherwise, I'd wait to see what the first candle looks like on this one as well. See what kind of candle. If it's giving you a red candle, be patient. See if you get a bigger pullback on this one. If you get a green candle, you're probably just trying to figure out how to get back into it or how to make some kind of play. But if you're holding it, looks good. Maybe get some profit taken out of the gate, right ahead, right in front of that 300 solid number. We'll see, but I'm going to put that on the list. Again, I think without any resistance above it, Bitcoin going crazy, I'd probably still look to trade this one long. Where AMD, I think it's a little bit weaker. So, um, I don't know if I'd want to short MicroStrategy, but if I could figure out how to get into it for trade, I'm probably willing to take that. Let's see. We got Hood Santella says this is going to be another one. Everything crypto related. Yeah, we were talking about this one for months in terms of not really anything holding it back up to $35. So I got $35 as a price target on this one. That being said, when does it hit it and how long does it take? That I don't know. But I think was there a mini gap up here too somewhere? Yeah, you still have this mini gap actually up to like 39.43. So I wouldn't be quite shocked if eventually we start getting up there, especially just with all the bullish momentum. Like all the other plays, though, you have one, two, three, four, five green days in a row. You're gapping up. You don't have a big psychological number in front of you, and I think you got some room today at least to probably 34.52, somewhere in that range. Um, but it is a retest gap, so let's see if this one pulls back a little bit, or at least be patient, see what that first candle delivers today. I think a lot of the stocks are going to be just kind of patient with and trying not to get trapped. Most likely, I'll still get trapped somewhere, I would assume, but I'm going to try not to at least. Until it says Bitcoin going to 100K. Probably, but my one big problem with that is everybody says it's going to 100K. So maybe there's some people selling slightly short of it, and then we pull back first, and then we kind of hit. But I think eventually we probably do. Bristol Myers, yeah, that's a gap up. That's related to Abivi. So Abivi came out with some news today, but they did not get approval for one of their drugs, and they got to get back to the lab. No pun intended, but kind of intended. Otherwise, you got Abivi gapping down pretty decent on that news. You do have a is it a gap fill, not really. I guess you got support on Abivi. That's gonna be 175.78. Bristol Myers is the competitor in that field, so they're getting the inverse play on that one. So nice big gap up for Bristol Myers. You do have some resistance that we're kind of gapping into. You got 1, 2, 3 days down, so this is a bullish gap and go. Concerned a little bit about targets on this one, but I think 62.36 would be your first target if you could get a break above it. Maybe you're looking for like 64.30. ABBV has a little bit room to the downside until we hit that support. So you might have some room in terms of as Abivi continues to drop a little bit more, you might get a little bit more bullish reaction on BMY as well. So we'll see what happens there. We'll get that one higher. Looks like an interesting gap. My biggest problem is we are into the next volume zone at least. But if we could escape it, it's got a really decent move ahead of it. SOXL is not up, Santilla says. Nope, this one is not. I believe the IWM is up though. And then the bond market is closed today too for Veterans Day. So they give the bond traders a break, not us stock market people. We got to work overtime. But we do have support on this one. Look for support somewhere around 34.20 if that breaks. You do have a lot of room to the downside. Next spot I'd say is 33.14, and then longer term I think 31.22. I'm not sure if that hits today. I don't think so. IWM. Goldman Sachs had a nice gap on it too. But IWM good gap up again, retracement gap. If you're trading at 4 a.m., you are making some serious money. And then by the time we get that morning bell, they don't want us to have any fun. Uh again, two inside. I like Goldman Sachs actually a lot. You are right at $600. Good psychological whole number on this one. Maybe a pullback, kind of retracing this, but you got two resting days inside of a nice big massive gap up. You got IWM rocking too. I would think this one pulls back, but I'd be still bullish Goldman. I think they're looking pretty fantastic at this point. JP Morgan, let's see if they look similar. It's gapping up, but not to the same effect. Actually, I kind of like JP Morgan a little bit just because they got ranges on it, I think, where Goldman Sachs, I don't really have anything to the higher side. I don't really know where my targets would be except for higher. But JP Morgan, that is a gap and go, still inside of this Wednesday candle. If this one could pull back, we have decent support sitting around 237.94. I think Goldman should be a retest gap. That might cause JP Morgan to pull back a little too. And then if that does hit, you probably have good risk reward to the bull side. I'd be looking for like a 245 target, 245.16, something in that range. So we'll see if JP Morgan wants to pull back a little bit as well. Joe says, please, DJ, can you ask if anyone else is having issues with their Robinhood cash account? Let me know, guys. I don't have Robinhood. I don't use it. I do have the stock, but that doesn't help answer this question whatsoever. But yeah, if anybody has Robinhood, let me know. If you could throw it into either of the chats. If you're having any issues with the Robinhood cash account. Let's help out Joey B. Let's help him out. Let me see if I'm missing any other tickers. Otherwise, I think we covered most of them. I don't know. Did we? Oh, Monday. Yep. Manic Monday. Was this an earnings? Yeah, earnings beat. Earnings beat, and then they beat Monday. They just clobbered it. I don't know why. Earnings look good. Earnings per share. They did beat by 33% earnings per share. They came in with 4.82 on the revenue side. Anna says her Robinhood Cash is working fine, Joe. But you're at support on this one. I think this is a little bit of a buy the dip opportunity out of the gate. Targets, I don't know where that's going to run to. Next spot really I got is 277.55. I'd like to see where this one opens. So already we were just sitting 2 seconds ago at 270.59. Now we're leaning down past that point of 269.81. That's actually going to put a little more pressure on it if that's where we actually open. Then targets the downside 260.53 would be my spot I'd be looking to kind of buy. But that's a big dip. I don't know if it was forecast or guidance, but something's clobbering that one. DraftKings, my goodness, football just killed me this weekend. I'm in like a pick'em league where you pick every single team with the spread. Coming into this week, I'm in first place. I think there's like 40 people in the league in first place. This week, so far, I got 3 games correct. I don't know what happened. I'm going to attribute it to that fact that I have a cold that just does not go away. That's got to be it. But I didn't have any like real money on the games. But if anybody did, and you followed my picks on that one, DraftKings made a lot of money this weekend. So yeah, all really close games, some kind of upsets, things like that. Otherwise, again, they reported earnings. It was a miss and a miss. The the benefit to what they did though is again they lowered the guidance for this next quarter, but then they said we're gonna double EBITDA next year. That's huge. Great gap on this one. You do have it is a retest gap, so let's see if we pull back a little bit, maybe down into this 41.50 zone. Targets to the higher side of this, I'd take it to like 43.33. Did I look at Dell? No, we have not looked at Dell. Joe says I've had issues with Robinhood before, but not like this. Yeah, don't know. Don't know. Dell looks actually interesting for a bull play here. You do have some resistance that we can come into. Let's see if this one Dell I feel like is a tricky trade usually, but 146.03 I think is the spot we could get to. Maybe not today. That'd be a big move, but see how that one. Oh, so far pulling back, supporting this one. See if we get down to like 136.80. Better spot 136.29. Otherwise, you guys have been absolutely incredible in YouTube land. That morning bell means I got to disconnect though. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. You guys are awesome. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Later, guys.